Just have myself in there, folks. How are you? Good evening, Tuesday evening. And tonight we have another guest. And tonight's guest is doing it all a little bit different again, folks. And what we've been trying to show you here, me and Kaz, all right, is that there are many, many ways to be having a go, right, and taking on this this corporation that seems to be making our lives so difficult at this present time, or have been for a long time. We hadn't noticed it, but certainly now we have. So we've got Kazza. We'll bring Kazza in. She's always here, back down in the show. Kaz, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. The weather's settled down a little bit, and we're a bit happier here. So now we're about to bring into the studio, Kaz, Phil from the GGs, who's been running the GGs down there for like 4 months. This guy is just solid as a rock, okay? And what Phil's been doing, folks, is Phil's been with a couple other guys down there. You know, none of us can do this on our own, folks, and that's one thing we're trying to point out to you here, that we all need to be working together, okay? And Phil's got a crew of guys down here, and he was telling me just a while ago that they spent a week down at the National Library or something looking shit up, you know, and that's how we need to be doing this, folks, okay? We can't all do everything, okay? And we don't. Phil was saying before, I won't take his magic off him. Actually, I'll let him leave him to his own lines. But, yeah, he was speaking to us before how, you know, we all just we don't need to know everything. We need to know what affects us and what's the best thing and best option that we can do. So let's bring Phil in after his 4-month sojourn down at the Govenor Generals. How are you, Phil?
7th of February, buddy.
7th of February.
I'm good. I'm good, mate. Really good, yeah.
Well, how's it going down there at the Govenor Generals? And I think one question people would probably like answered, Phil, is what do you think you're going to achieve at the Govenor Generals? And has Canberra had its day from one of the stalwarts? You know, you're the man down there on the ground. So what's the consensus down there? That's the first question I'd like to get out, Phil, even though I probably know the answers, but our viewers don't. Yeah.
Yeah, look, Canberra has not had its day. So on the 1st of April, the governor created a new ordinance to try and rid himself of the GG thing. Us. Rid himself of the.
Hang on, just explain to people what the GG thing is. So you go there every morning and you protest the Governor General.
Every morning, folks. Every frigging morning, folks. Listen to me. 7 days a week, every day for frigging 4 months. These heroes have been doing this.
Literally every day, and I tell you what, some of those days are bloody horrible. But look, I've said it several times at the GGs. You know, is this worse than what our diggers went through? You know what I mean? Our diggers were months and months in trenches with trench foot and, you know, everything, snow, you name it. So we've got nothing to complain about. But, yeah, so we go to the Governor Generals. It started off with, there was a bunch of us from up here. We've been protesting the Governor's house up here since the 30th of August last year. And we finally got a letter back from Jeanette Young up here that said that she didn't have the power to approach the Governor General over that particular thing we were protesting. So we went. Then we found out that everybody was going to Canberra. Everybody's going to Canberra. We went. You know so what?
This is about the 28 names you're talking about.
That's about the 28 names. That's right. That's correct. It's about the 28 names to start off with from the suppression order. And, so we went down there and we went, you know what, let's protest the Governor General about this. And also the fact that the Australian people have had enough with this bullshit that's going on, this BS. And you know, at the time we were calling for writs of fresh elections. And people were going, well, why are you doing that? There's an election coming anyway. And we went, well, we don't want the people to petition us for what they're going to do for us, because they always tell us what they're going to do over the next 4 years. And we want the election now without them to do their little song and dance. That's why we want writs for elections right now. And then the election came along, and we all know what sort of sham that was. What was their numbers? They reckon 648,000 people voted for independence. That was it. The rest voted for the big three. Sorry, it makes everybody laugh.
What's crazy about that, though, is they want us to believe that 2.4 million people showed up to protest the government and then went home and voted Greens.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, so we go to the Governor Generals every single day, and we bring up the fact that we that we want the 28 names exposed, because I don't see anybody. I've never talked to anybody that's not part of the problem that doesn't want pedophilia removed out of our community, right? And we want writs for fresh elections. The oath that Albanese took was treasonous. It didn't mention the Constitution, didn't mention the Commonwealth, didn't mention Queen Elizabeth II, and it's obviously not an oath that is real, and he's obviously not the real deal. And he's either step up for the Australian people, because the Australian people have had enough, or he needs to step down and let someone else.
So we've actually got a Governor General, Phil, who's not the real Governor General. Is that what the rumours that we're hearing?
Mate, that is well, it's pretty hard to swear in a Governor General when sorry?
I say, let's throw it out there. A little bit of stuff of what we hear. Now, we hear that our Governor General people is not really our Governor General. So comment on that, Phil.
I'm hearing the same thing. And when you think about it, the seal for the Queen, the Australian seal was destroyed in 1973 on October the 19th. So it'd be almost impossible. 73, I think it was, yeah. And it'd be impossible to swear in a real governor.
So since 1973, when Gough Whitlam helped remove the Queen's seals, and the reason that we have a Governor General, because the Governor General is the person who goes to the Queen on our behalf, the people's behalf, all right, to get what we want decreed, right, and sort it out in a right manner. Now, if we don't have the Queen, there is no need for the Governor General, and we can't have a Governor General if we don't have the seals from the Queen to put him in place, is what Phil's saying to you. So all this since 73, and we know it goes back to 1901, it goes back again to 1215 or 1289 with the other Magna Carta. The 1215 is the correct one, but all through history we've had this, folks, okay? But in 73, they pulled the big scam, okay? They removed the seals.
I'm not right up on that.
Yeah, they registered.
I'm not right up on that side of things. So.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. We're all registered in the USA. We are the commodity that the Australian government, which is registered in the USA on the stock exchange, are dealing with. We are the commodity.
Yeah. Now, so Phil, a lot of the people that we brought on our show, your friends included, we had Bruce on last night. We're all pretty good friends now. We're all, like brothers. And so you've been going a completely different way. What you've been doing is you've been using their own corporation laws, e.g. the Criminal Act, etc., against them. And you're having success doing this, yeah?
Great success, yeah. So the 1995 Criminal Act, 83.4, your right to protest, for instance, right? Section 1, A, B, C, D. Anybody who inhibits you, coerces you, arrests you, or causes any or threatens you to stop you from politically protesting is breaking the law, and that person is personally liable to 2.5 years jail. So that means that's including police officers, because we are peaceful political protesters. There's been no violence from our side ever, as far as I can work out, against normal people or police. There's people that defended themselves when they've been attacked, but even that's very few. And look, we've had, if I can guesstimate, about 170 arrests, I would reckon, of protesters down there. Not one conviction, not one. All of them have gone through court and have either been dismissed or deferred to a lot later date, and majority are dismissed.
Okay, so Phil, sorry, you go, Kaz, first. Sorry, I've been hogging it, Kaz.
Walk us through the stealing of the Glad wrap and the suspicion of camping, because that's just outrageous.
Stealing of Glad wrap. I didn't hear the stealing of Glad wrap. We actually bought it all from Officeworks. It's as cheap as dirt. They had it on special.
No, the police stole it.
Oh, the police stealing it? Yeah, they steal that all the time. So we used the Glad wrap as look. I think it was Brad came up with the idea. It's great. It's exceptional. That's the thing. They created this army of people with logical thinkers who solve problems, and that's really what's stopping them.
Solve problems.
Yeah, Brad just went, well, let's just make a windbreak and we made a tent because they said we're camping. Well, we can't affix things to the ground. We can't build structures. So they just go glad wrapper and wrap around 4 trees. And I tell you what, they've got it down to an art now. We have pitched roofs and everything on them nowadays. I think we're up to Embassy 13.
It's a glad revolution.
Oh, mate, I built my first one the other day just before I left. It was nowhere near as good as Brad's. I think we're up to Embassy 13 now. I suggested we put the word embassy on it because it's something that they should be protecting as protected services. They protect and acknowledge the tent embassy. So why are they the sovereign's rights and their protest? Why are they not acknowledging the Freedom Embassy, which is the people of Australia's rights to protest?
Okay, so Phil, what I wanted to get you to go into a little bit was we've heard some conversations when people have been locked up, sitting in the back of cop vans, waiting for the next one to get locked up, overhearing the police, and different things like that. So just give us a rundown on some of the stuff that you guys might be hearing down there that doesn't make a real lot of sense, bud. Like, you know what I'm asking you.
Yes, right. So probably one of the first ones, one of the funniest ones is we couldn't get this code the police were using for quite a while, this MSU. They're speaking to each other, MSU. And we couldn't work out what the hell this MSU was, this code. And then one of the police officers, because there's quite a few down there that aren't necessarily against us, but they haven't managed to get up the gumption to change sides yet. And he goes, MSU stands for make shit up. Make shit up. Right? So what they've been told is that basically the force has their back. Just make anything up to achieve their goal at the time. Get people out of there. And we've had senior 3 pips on the shoulder officers talking to us, and we've quoted the law to them because, like you said, we spent 3 weeks in the National Library studying the laws that they were using against us. And we go, mate, you don't have jurisdiction here. This is not NSA land. This is ACT land. The ordinance doesn't stand in ACT land. You can only use it in National Capital Authority land, NCA land. And he goes, I don't care. You can sort that out in court. I am going to come and arrest you at 9:30 tonight if you do not move on. So this is the sort of stuff we're getting, And then
that's
when
showing the objective of the police, Phil. They don't care. They're under instruction to move you guys, break this thing up, stop people protesting at all costs, and we don't care what happens. Just get it to court, and we can just throw it out as long as we're removing them at the time in this present moment.
Yeah. So I asked another officer that I get a bit on with reasonably well. I said, show me proof where this is NCA land. I said, this is on your protesting map that you download, the guide to protesting in Canberra says that this is ACT land, and over there is NCA land. And I said, the ordinance that you're quoting, can't think of the ordinance at the moment. 8A, Ordinance 8A, that you can't camp and they'll give you a move on order. I said it doesn't stand here because the ACT Act doesn't have the camping section in it, and they gave me this link, and it was actually the money side of what happened, and it said that NCA paid for mowing the lawn in that area. And I went, I can mow the lawn in my neighbour's house. It doesn't mean I own his house. That was all they could produce. And that night we got arrested there. One of the people that was in the paddy wagon overheard them talking, and they said, we've got to change tactics because normally you arrest 1 or 2 people and they all piss off. We're up to 11 people, and they're still not going anywhere. So they had to change tactics that night, and that was when they did the whole link arms and they did the big dun, 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 march, and they just pushed everyone out, right? And didn't give people the opportunity. They stopped arresting people and started physically pushing them out. So they didn't give them the opportunity to get arrested even. People say, why didn't people just keep pushing and get arrested? Well, they didn't give them that opportunity. they took that opportunity away because it wasn't working for them.
Well, there you go. So they're in all sorts of drama. They don't know what to do with us people, Phil. Now, there's only you'd give it, on good numbers, probably 150 staunch people down there, mate, would you say?
Yeah. When we all get together at the same time, 150. Most of the time it sort of floats between 70 and maybe 30 get together at any one time, because some days, you just need a day off. It is quite tiring with that weather down there at the moment. It is quite an effort to live in your car or live rough in minus temperatures. And so 150 when we're all together, which happens on a reasonably regular basis, as you would have seen the other weekend when you were down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, I know what it was, Phil, and as I say to you all the time, I believe that these guys knew that the Australian freedom movement, segregated like we were, splitted like we were, it didn't matter. We were still a big threat to them, and that's why the direct energy weapons were used on our people, Phil, over those 2 weekends. And I am a firm believer, and no one's coming out to fucking prove me wrong yet, but that we lost, I said 75%, that's probably an over-exaggeration, but we lost the majority of our people when they got burnt that weekend. That was enough to scare people off. Now, that was great tactics by the AFP and the people in charge. It was brilliant tactics.
They've admitted to using those weapons. They've admitted to using them. They said that we only use them for sound. That was the LRAD, that the particular one you could see was LRAD. Now that was just a diversion so that people would talk about the LRAD and say, well, that's not possible to do that. But
we know we've got people that have already told us it looks like an LRAD, but it's actually a multi-purpose one. So it does
look like an LRAD. Yeah.
Well, when that first happened, I rang my brother, who's actually was trained in Duntruan and as an officer and all that sort of stuff. And I said, they're using this LRAD and they're burning us. And he goes, no, can't happen. Doesn't work like that. He goes, explain what's happening. And I was explaining what was happening, and he said straight away, he said, no, he said they're using a can't think of the name of it now. It's got another acronym.
DIR, isn't it? DIR or something?
Something like that. But he said it straight up, and he told me exactly what it would do. And he said, I did the training in Duntruan for it. He said, they've got one there. And he said, it actually can be built into the perimeter of a building. And it heats the water molecules under your skin, about 0.4 millimeters under your skin.
Exactly right.
And excites them. And it uses milliwaves, not microwaves. It uses milliwaves because microwaves are too hard to control. So it uses milliwaves, and it excites the water particles. And that's why some people are affected more than others. So me personally, I'm always fairly dehydrated because I have an overactive saliva gland in my mouth, which means I don't drink a lot because I always have a moist mouth. People that drink a lot, have a lot of moisture in their body, they get hit really bad.
Yep.
Now, the only place that I had a problem was I had an open sore on the inside of my mouth where the saliva gland is. That's the only place I had the problem. Where other people had, skin coming off. There's a 9-year-old boy that has actually still got a problem. He still wakes up in bed with a bed full of blood and that because it's triggered something in his body. Look at
the comments coming in here on screen, Phil. You know what I mean? Like, people that were burnt and hurt down there. Look, we know, and I think that was the master stroke in the early days by the Black Hats or the Cabal, mate. Brilliant strike upon the Australian people.
There was a bushy guy there I was talking to, an old bushy guy. He said, I've worked out in Queensland desert all my life. No shirt on. He said, I'm losing skin under my shirt.
Yeah.
He said, I can literally stand in the sun for days with no shirt, and I'm losing skin under my shirt.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, Phil. You can't hurt me with the sun, mate. I've been in it all my life. My skin's leather, mate.
Too.
But
me too.
I'm lucky also. I'm like you, Phil. I don't drink over the top amounts of that, sort of pure water and that. You know what I mean? So I'm not that. But what we noticed was Megan, our PA down there, poor old Meegs, drinks water religiously every day, X amount. She's like very regimented in a way. God bless you, Megan. And yeah, she was very well hydrated and she got whacked, mate. Like you just see how it burnt. As you said, the more fluid you have under this, it's like a microwave, folks. You put fluid in there and what happens to it? It heats up, it boils.
Yeah,
okay?
ADS is called Active Denial System. I just remembered.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And people say, oh, the huge things are going to be mounted on trucks and that. Mate, if you have a look at all the photos that you get of it, they all stopped at around about 98, 2000. They stopped showing you photos of this device. It's down to a handheld weapon now. It just,
Aaron's in here, mate. He's pretty up on it all. It's milliwave radiation emitters.
Welcome back,
yeah,
Aaron.
that's what I said. Milliwave, that's right.
So, it's all over.
They can build it to look like an LRAD now, and they can actually build the two into one.
Yep, that's it. So, Australia,
and when they did that, it's called a multi-purpose. So that's what I was told, that they're together. It looks like an LRAD, but it's actually like it's got
they have both. Yeah, so the LRAD's like a speaker type system, which is mounted, and this other device is actually mounted in between it, and it doesn't have to be visible. The shocking thing was they thought it was okay to use that on women and kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
And the only country in the world where the police have actually done this to their citizens is Australia.
Yep. And it's classed as a lethal device in every other country except for Australia.
It's registered to our military, not even the police force. It's registered to the frigging military, mate.
That's what my brother said. He said, I'd like to see the person who signed it out of Duntruan because that's where it's kept. Yep.
Exactly right, mate. We know a bit more. And look, we're conspiracy theorist people, okay? I'm going to bring a clip in here, but we were telling you, okay, what was going to happen and how they were going to flood out the East Coast, and then they're going to buy all your land, mate. Yeah.
Like Lord Song says, how many times do we have to be right before who's the crazy one?
Well, here it is, folks. Climate experts say New South Wales government should buy Sydney homes left inhabitable by floods.
Uninhabitable.
Look, here we go. Look at this. This poor lady, she's, been flooded out like 3 times now in friggin' the last 4 months or something, ready to sell them. This is what they're doing. They're beating us down to a pulp.
They want that land. They want that property. Those people wouldn't move if their house was perfectly good and they'd lived there for their entire life and their generations.
Yeah.
And some of these properties are heritage properties, and they wouldn't be able to actually knock them down due to heritage laws.
That's right.
Yeah. And
they want to get those smart cities there.
Yeah. Look at this.
Australia's tropical. What time do we have rain? Not this time of the year.
That scale there, folks, if you want to go in and have a look at this is just on the ABC News, okay? But go in and just have a look at, the pitching scales here for how much water they've actually dropped, mate, this time. Unbelievable.
And people tell me that they don't exist and all this sort of stuff. Go on the government websites. There are legislations on there. There's literally a thing on where the Sydney water catchment area, Perisher and all that sort of stuff, they do a yearly report of how much they've done, how much spraying they've done, how much has actually hit the ground from the atmosphere. It's all on the government website. It's actually there. You can read it. It's on their website, and it explains what they do, how they do it, and they do it. They say they do it around that area to make the catchment area get enough water for Sydney. It's all there. It's on their websites. You don't have to believe
hang on.
it.
And don't forget, Phil, that their catchment area is now full of aluminium, and what stores aluminium is fluoride, which our water is full of, So when the aluminium comes from the sky, we got enough fluoride to obtain the aluminium and cause us all to get fucking Alzheimer's. They've got it worked out to a fucking T.
And what does chloride cause? Osteoporosis.
Exactly.
There you go.
And we're not doctors. Hey, we're not doctors, Phil. We're fucking concreters and friggin' school teachers, mate. You know what I mean?
And mechanics and the Russian army and that way back in World War II wouldn't use aluminium cooking ware.
Yeah.
Because they knew it caused problems with mental problems and Alzheimer's.
Do you know that at the same time as what they brought out, started to put the aluminium and get the aluminium out into us was when they started to bring all this aluminium. I remember Mum had these 3 triangular pots, Phil, that fitted together on one element. And the potatoes went, the carrots, peas, and corn went in one. You had a bigger one for the potatoes. All aluminium, man. Fucking all of them. Aluminium. They just started getting aluminium out to everybody. Let's poison them. Like, we had no idea.
even your drink containers, the paper drink containers, what do they line them with inside? Aluminium foil. Make them waterproof. Why do they need to use aluminium foil?
Yeah.
You can't buy tin foil anymore.
Yeah.
You can only buy alfoil.
So have you got any clips you want to bring in, Kazza?
I think I did download some, but it was mainly because I wasn't sure if Phil was going to be able to hang around with us because they were kind of like messing with him. So
ask about our water supply. Someone's saying here, you know, and there is, folks. We've had all this stuff tested. You know, you all need to start getting your water tested, getting the results, and getting them back to our local MPs. You know, we all need to be doing this work. Okay, your local pool supplier can tell you what's in your water. Okay, just tell him it's coming out of your pool. It's just coming out of the rainwater butt. You know, and take it down. Pay the fucking $10. You know what I mean?
Everything I drink goes through my life straw, mate. At a minimum. The minimum is my life straw, my water bottle life straw, or other filtered water.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's one that we need to have a look at today.
Oh, have I got the wrong one in? Oh, yeah, that's a guru.
Malaria drug chloroquine does not inhibit SARS-CoV-2.
Oh, shit.
This study came out this week, and this is in tissue culture.
Yeah, mine did that a minute ago. It'll come back soon.
Yeah, she'll get it right. Yeah, we have all sorts of. There's always people in here playing with us, Phil.
Lung cells.
Mate, like I said, my phone just gets absolutely hammered, mate. The things that happens is unbelievable. People don't believe me. I have to show them.
Yeah.
No, I get messages from unrecognised numbers, and I just click on message and see previous messages from the phone call, and I go, oh shit, that's Jeff or Jack or Jill or whatever. They've deleted their name off my list, you know, my contacts list. No, I actually start putting on my notes, you know, your notes section in your phone. I start putting in there, guys, if you're going to fuck with my phone, stop making it so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Kaz has just dropped out for a minute. But here's a comment here, Phil. I got back from Epic and I was flat, fully exhausted, sat on the couch for 8 days, blew my nose on the second day at home, and all this blood came out with clots in it too. I spoke to a man in Mount Gambier, and he told me a naturopath tested him and identified exposure to formaldehyde. That was two people. Yeah, that was two people in the same day. Now, we've heard about that. What is it, diphtheria and that, Phil? Have you heard about the case of diphtheria? Well, I know for a fact that, Phil, they're dropping that from the skies too. Okay, they're dropping actual diphtheria, mate.
Sheedy was telling me she's seen some legislation where they're allowed to start dropping all sorts of chemicals to do with some, like suppressing viruses and stuff like that. They've written the legislation to drop it from the sky. So basically vaccinate you from the sky.
Thank you very much, Debbie Riley. That shit won't stop me. But I've taken Kaz's advice. I've spent my whole day emailing and phoning every government department, hospital, and jibby jab. Let's get organised in. You know, if we can get like just 10 of our viewers doing this on Monday, 10 doing it Tuesday, 10 doing it, you know, and we consistently pump them for a few hours, folks. You know what I mean? Like, I love you guys out there.
Yeah,
we got choice viewers, Phil. When me and Kaz actually asked for them to do something for us, it's done, mate. We broke the Twitter algorithm, or Kaz did. She got them to break the fucking Twitter algorithm with hashtag #SackBlood.
Yeah, nice. Well done. What about hashtag exposure28? That'll be a good one.
We can do that. Hey, is that showing on the screen there? Let me know when to play because I can't see it at the moment.
All right, sorry, Kaz. There you go. Nah.
You want me to play it?
Yeah, go.
Laughable. It says here, malaria drug chloroquine does not inhibit SARS-CoV-2. So this study came out this week, and this is in tissue culture. So I looked at the study, and I thought, that's interesting. I don't know what happened there, but let me look at it. So then I saw KLU3 lung cells. So they said, hey, it may work in kidney cells, but it doesn't work in lung cells. So in our evidence, yeah, it can work in vitro in kidney cells, but not in lung cells, right? So I thought, well, that's interesting. So I worked at MD Anderson. I was in ocular oncology, and I thought about it. I said, I've heard of that cell line for KLU3 lung cells. It's an adenocarcinoma. It's a lung cancer cell. So I tweeted, I corresponded with the author, and I said, I am so happy for your study. You just showed one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. I never thought I would see something so clear. You just proved that when virus is around and chloroquine is around, chloroquine will let the virus attack a cancer cell. I think about that. So it will protect a normal cell, but chloroquine will not protect a cancer cell because they're dedifferentiated. The receptors are different. I mean, think about that. So I told him back. I said, "Thank you. That's the great. You completely misinterpreted the data, and you hid the fact they hid it. They put it all the way down. As you know, you have to look for the data set. So I found it in the appendix in little letters. KLU3 lung cells. This is the disinformation campaign that we are faced with. They put out a big thing and they said, oh, it doesn't work. They put it on Medical Express. That's it for chloroquine. It's unlikely to work against SARS-CoV-2. We just proved it. No, you proved chloroquine is one of the smartest drugs in history. It will let the viruses attack cancer cells, but not normal cells.
Yeah.
It's laughable.
All right. So the background story behind this.
SARS-CoV-2. So this study came out this week, and this is.
So why this is important is because they purposely used cancer cells to prove that hydroxychloroquine was ineffective against a virus. Okay. But what he's actually done is he's looked at the data, but it's actually proved that it works perfectly because it protects the healthy cells and allows the virus to attack the cancerous cells. Now, it's not widely published, but it is published that when people get viruses, suddenly their cancer clears up. So, which I find fascinating.
They actually found the cure for cancer.
Yeah. Well, possibly. We don't know because they don't want us to know. It's one of those things that they brush past.
I've got another theory with hydrochloroquine. You know how we make it with grapefruit rind and lemon rind, boiling it up.
Yep.
Well, it's really bitter. If anybody's done it, it's really bitter. It's really, really bitter. And I think I have a theory that there's a possibility that we may have done this in the past and used honey to make it taste better, right? And then somewhere along the line, we may have lost the information about the grapefruit and lemon rind, and we started doing lemon and honey to solve colds and flus. And there might be a slight link there because I'll always look for those sorts of things. I always wonder where sayings and information and medicine comes from. And I thought there may be a link there. It'd be interesting for me to follow a bit more. There may be a link there why grandma gave you lemon and honey. It may have once upon a time been grapefruit, lemon, and honey.
Yeah. Well, see, hydroxychloroquine is safe. Like they've been using it for years. We took it when we went to Africa. And one of the derivatives, so my son actually got malaria when we were in Africa. And so when he came back, when he was 4, he had to go in a hospital for treatment. And the doctors were really excited because they hadn't, treated a tropical disease in Australia and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, but one of the other treatments that I gave him was tonic water because that's got natural
quinine. Yeah,
quinine. So when the whole COVID thing came out, I just went and got a whole heap of I've got bottles of tonic water because I know that it forces the zinc into the cells and zaps it.
Yeah, we had that when we were sailed to the Philippines. We were just plenty of tonic water. Yeah, there's a natural quinine. But listen, we got another. You want change? This is a good idea. I like this. You want change? Let's go to their party meetings, Labor, Liberal, Green, and Wayne Kerr's join or something, and blend in and uck them. So, in other words, just go in and take over their parties, Phil. And if we don't get anywhere, that could be a good idea, people. Now, here's one of our viewers, Kaz. I rang every funeral place in northern New South Wales asking for correct number of deaths because I have intel that have told me the number are higher than we know. Also contacted Conair and Volcon Air in regards to chemtrails and told that we know you have the resources to create those weather events so you can use the same resources to reverse this third weather, even cease and desist immediately. Third event didn't happen. So, yeah, like you, Kaz, well, Epic never happened, did it, Kaz? In the first incident? We weren't there. You hear that, Phil?
Phil doesn't know about
there, really.
We did a Freedom of Information Act request and basically got back because I really wanted to know who made the decision. And in the first instance that we got a response back was basically, no, it didn't happen. So, oh no, no one was at Epic. There were no protesters there.
Epic Park's closed for maintenance, guys. Didn't you know that? Closed for maintenance.
So,
you know what?
anyway,
It cracked me up the other day because all those signs came down about a month ago. All those no camping in Epic Park signs came down. And then as soon as they found out about last Saturday, they all went back up again.
I know.
They were terrified it was going to happen again.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
So,
hashtag Exposure28. Have a go at that for us, will you? It'd be great. I'd love you to do that.
Okay, we can put it right over viewers. Phil's asking out. Hashtag the 28.
Everyone, hashtag Exposure28. Hashtag Exposure28. So let's do it. Guys, for the next couple of days, wherever you go, and remember that people read the comments and also the comments on the media posts for like Sunrise News and things like that. If you put hashtag Exposure28, that gets around the algorithm. So remember, the culture war is really important. And there's Daz, of course, he's going to do it. And Verity, she's done it as well. Good. Let's get it going, guys.
And look, guys. We can. Part of the solution is a lot of these pedophiles and whatnot are in high-profile positions. So if we can make this an issue and make it something that people speak about, I'm just going to have a bit of a spiel here, guys. Sorry about this. It's going to take a bit.
Go for it, Phil. When have I ever stopped you from having a spiel, Phil? Get into it.
So
see if you can get the part.
While I've been down there, right, people have come to feel as though I'm reasonably trustworthy. And a lot of people speak to me about stuff they won't speak to other people about. And look, just about every single woman that is down there at some point in their life has had an issue with molestation, rape, uncomfortable situations, not necessarily agreeing with what's happening around or with them. And a lot of males too, right? And the reason these people get away with this is because we don't speak about it as a community. We think it as a taboo subject. And if we do that, then these people are able to hide in society even though these things happen. If we make this a mainstream subject for people to be comfortable to talk about, then people that get exposed to this who don't ever bring it forward and never expose the person who has done this, then they get away with it. But if we make it mainstream it's quite acceptable to talk about, these people have nowhere to hide.
Exactly right, Phil. Exactly right.
Yeah, exactly right.
And that's why we're all down there, and that's why, a lot of the reason behind it, like we all have our personal reasons. As you know, me and Mel had, our little girl Jessica bullied to death by the world. Okay, so when it come to the government bullying my fellow human beings, that's what ticked us off big time. Right. You know what I mean? And we all have different reasons for being here, and we all have different, views on it, folks. But listen, while this shit's going on, it's fucking just not right. We just got to get it out, all right? We're doing our best to try and expose it, share the shit out of it, especially share the shit out of tonight's show, get it out there. People love listening.
And thank you. We don't know who you are, but there are people who are mirroring our shows and putting them up on your own sites. Thank you. We love you for it. Daz, I know that you're one of them. You put it up on your own thing. Good on you. Thank you so much. We don't care. We're not even just want the word out.
One of the phrases I've coined is, let's make Australia great again by making Australians great again. Yeah, and we do this by getting rid of this sort of stuff out of our society. We make Australian society great again.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Okay, folks, well, when we get off here, I'd like all my viewers, or I no doubt most of you will be anyway, heading over to Nun 2K to see Ricardo and Carl with Tuesdays Truthful, or whatever it is, Truthful Tuesdays. Nothing but the Truth Tuesday. Yeah. So they're live at the Gold Coast at Carrara at the Croatia Club.
Bossy's on screen.
So Bossy will be on screen answering questions. So all of my viewers here, if you just want to nick over there when we close the show, that'd be great. Go and support Carl and Bosie. So listen, Phil, got to have you back again real soon, man. And let's get into a bit more of how you're beating with your laws. We got a little bit off track there. We wanted to concentrate on yours. But
there's hundreds of their laws, guys. They create thousands of them. Get to know them, the ones that you need and the ones that they're using, because they're quite often misusing theirs And there's plenty that we can use of ourselves against them. And that's what we're doing down there in Canberra at the moment. And we're killing them. Like I said, over 170 arrests and no convictions. No convictions yet.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night. Everyone stay safe in this weather. All right. Let's just hope the government's, sorry.
Hashtag Exposure 28.
Exposure 28. All right. Thanks, Kazza, again. You are an absolute legend, mate. And Phil, be talking to you soon. But, Phil, let's get you back on and go into a bit more of what you're doing, mate. Okay? So,
will do, mate. Really, really pleasure. Every time I talk to you, I love you, mate.
No, you too, bro. That's what we created there. It's a family, buddy, isn't it? Isn't it unbelievable that out of all this, bullshit, chaos, and negativity and evil, that we've created this family of people that just fucking love each other. Yeah. It's insane, mate. Yeah.
It is.
We can do it. The rest of the world can do it.
Exactly.